Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gridiron Ref. Thanks for joining in. Today's video is going to cover pass interference. Now, please remember these are National Federation of High School Sports rules. So like I said, pass interference today. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, I'm going to clarify the rule for you. We're going to look at our Get It Right software, we're going to look at some video, and we're going to break some things down. We're going to give some tips for coaches, officials, and players to help everyone out and get prepared for the season. So, a couple things to remember when it comes to pass interference at the high school football level. First off, this isn't the NFL, okay? So we aren't going to favor the offense or the wide receivers in the National Federation of High School Sports. What we're doing here is there's equal bounce between offense and defense. So you have to remember that. That's the most important concept is the bounce between offense and defense. Both players, the offensive player, defensive player, they have equal right to that ball. They both have their right to be on the field and their position on the field. For the officials, your no calls are just as important as your calls. So if a defensive player makes a great play, letting that play stand, letting that play go if there was no advantage to gain there, if there was no foul, that's just as important as throwing a flag for a foul. Officials also remember this isn't a safety foul. Coaches, you need to understand too, this is not a safety foul. We don't guess on pass interference fouls. We only throw a foul, throw a flag if we're 100% correct or 100% sure there's a foul. I'm going to tell you several years ago, I was doing a high school game. I was backpedaling. I was in the end zone. I had a bad angle. And at the end of the day, that's all I did. I had a bad angle. Defensive player makes a great play. I guess. I say, well, there was probably pass interference there. Probably was something there, but I didn't see it. So I threw the flag, penalized, and when we went back and looked at it on video, I was completely wrong. So what did I do there is I took a great play made by a defensive player away from him and gave the advantage to the offense. So the bottom line is don't guess. Don't ever guess. The other thing for officials, you cannot be a ball watcher. If you're watching that ball travel through the air, you're going to miss what's happening at the end of the play. And that's why coaches, fans, players, they're allowed to be ball watchers. That's fine. They can be the ball watchers. And that's why they get so frustrated when they may see this contact early on, at the end of the play. But officials, we need to have the discipline. Should be 80-20. 20%, where's the ball going? Which way is the play traveling? 80% on your section, officiating what's in your area. If you do that, you're going to be able to see whether there was an advantage or disadvantage gained. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help everyone out. We're going to break the defensive pass interference down into 6 categories. So when you see something, if you can place it in a category, you have a foul. If you can't, you probably don't have anything and need to let it go. This is going to be part 1. I am going to do part 2 of pass interference. That part 2 is really going to get deep into the rules. It's going to be more for officials about when restrictions begin and end and all that, but this is going to be the very basic of pass interference. So please subscribe and enjoy. Thank you. First, we're going to take a look at the rule, and this is right out of the rule book. It is forward pass interference for any player for A or B who is beyond the neutral zone and to interfere with an opponent's opportunity to move towards bat or catch a pass. And that's the most important thing. Notice that there's nothing in here that says about a catchable ball or an uncatchable ball. We don't have that in National Federation. And I have moved towards catch or bat the pass. That is highlighted in yellow because that is what we're concerned about. It's a move towards catch or bat the pass. The crazy thing about pass interference, not only does the rule book say what pass interference is, it talks about what pass interference is not. And it says right here in the very next article from pass interference, it is not pass interference if unavoidable contact occurs when two or more eligibles are making a simultaneous bona fide attempt to move towards catch or bat the pass. And that's when we say incidental contact, those types of things. That's what that's talking about. And then I also want to point out, you see below that one, that's talking about contact in a neutral zone. Not as important right now, but directly below that, letter C, contact by B is obviously away from the pass of the direction. So that's the contact by the defense is away from the direction of the pass. We're going to let that one go. So when we talk about these pass interference, I said fit it into a category. If you can fit it into a category, you know that you have a foul. If you can't, most likely you don't have a foul. And the first one is the easiest one, early contact playing through. Remember, the restrictions for pass interference end when the player is touched by an eligible A player or any player from Team B. So any contact before a player has touched the ball, we're talking about physical contact that would interfere with the person's ability to move towards bat or catch the pass. So early contact playing through, we're going to see some examples of that. The arm grab, an arm bar, hook and churn, cut off, and of course a jersey grab. So if you can categorize the contact or what's happening into one of these 6 categories, then you have a foul. If you can't, most likely you don't. Okay, starting out with our first video that we're going to look at, we're going to take a look at early contact or playing through. This is going to be the first category. This is going to be the easiest one to call now that we don't have face guarding. You're just going to watch here, pass play. Alright, now what do we see? We see the player in green, the offensive receiver. He's looking back. He wants to catch a legal forward pass in flight. What's this guy in white doing? He's not looking for the ball. He's not playing the ball. He's playing directly towards the wide receiver. And you see the early contact there. He interferes with this player's ability to move towards bat or catch the pass. So this is an easy one for early contact. And remember, we don't have any uncatchable ball. You know, as this pass is thrown, the guy in green, he wants to move back towards it, and he's contacted early. So we have an easy defensive pass interference call there. All right, taking a look at our Get It Right software, we're moving on to the arm grab. So this is going to be the second category. And as we go through the scenario here, you see that the defender in white, he's not looking back to play the ball. He's trying to block the vision of the blue player. This is face guarding. This is no longer a foul, so we're okay so far. Number 24 hasn't committed a foul yet. But now what do we see before the ball makes it to the receiver there in blue? Number 24 is grabbing the wrist of blue 88 and impeding his ability to catch the pass. So this is defensive pass interference, and you can see here when you look at the ball's not there yet. Number 24 making no attempt to catch this ball. He's not making no attempt to move towards bat or catch the pass. He's playing the player. Look at his face mask. Early, he grabs the arm and restricts this offensive player's ability to catch the ball. We have another foul for defensive pass interference. That is the arm grab. The third category we're looking at for pass interference is going to be the arm bar. Watch again. Blue is on offense, white on defense. And then we have a forward pass in the air. You see white 24. He's using the arm bar. Arm bar is one of the types of interfering with the opponent's opportunity to move towards a pass. And here he goes, he sticks that arm out, and what that does, that slows the offensive receiver down so he can't move towards bat or catch that pass. So this is the third category, the arm bar. Deep officials, when you're looking at this, if you look through the players, when they get into this situation where they're close and they're running towards each other, the way you pick out whether there's something here or not is you look between them. And you can see right now we have nothing. I'm looking between the receivers, through the receivers, through the... Oh, now we have an issue. Now we have the arm bar. It's slowing them down. And we have forward pass in flight. So that is going to be the arm bar, the third category. So number 4, this is going to be a cutoff. This can also be early contact. Once again, watch closely. This guy here, watch what his direction now. Now he's focusing on the player. He has no intention of moving towards batting or catching this pass. Obviously, our receiver over here in white, he wants to catch the pass. He's focused on that, and we have early contact here. So this is early contact. It's also, we can categorize this in a cutoff, but that is going to be our fourth category of pass interference. This is a good video of the hook and churn. So we're going to take a look at this one, hook and churn here. Watch, I believe that's number 22 in green. What's he do? Wraps and churns. The hook and churn. This is our 5th category. We see this. This is an obvious penalty. However, this was a good video of a hook and churn from a good angle, and that's why I used it. But just look in here. What do we have? We have a tip ball by Team B, by the defense. So defensive lineman there, he deflects this ball. As soon as he touches this ball, pass interference restrictions end. So the crew got together after this one and said, hey, ball was tipped. We have nothing here. So that was good communication by them. But had the ball not been tipped, you take a look here. This is the perfect hook and churn right there. That is illegal. That's our 5th category of defensive pass interference. We're going to do the last one. This is the jersey grab. This one's usually pretty obvious. And we're going to rewind this. And you can see player in green pretty much trying to rip number 8 in white's jersey off. That's an easy one. That is defensive pass interference. So we have these 6 categories. Early contact or playing through, the arm grab, the arm bar, hook and churn, cutoff, and jersey grab. If you can categorize your contact or what happened into one of those, then you have a foul. If you can't, most likely you don't have a foul. We're going to move on and we're going to take a look at some that aren't pass interference. Now, when you see these, there's going to be one sideline that's going to be extremely upset, but we got to work through these. All right, here. Sometimes I wish we had better definition angle cameras, but this is what we have to work with. Look at right now. Look at our defender. Look at both players. They're both looking back towards the ball. They want to move towards bat or catch this pass. Then they say, uh-oh, we need to readjust. The offensive player readjusts, and he just falls down. He most likely trips under White's feet. He falls down. We have nothing there. Remember, it is not pass interference if two or more eligibles are making a bona fide simultaneous attempt to move towards a bat or catch the pass. So we have nothing there. Simply having contact, just touching, doesn't mean we have a foul, as we're going to see here. I'm going to slip here. We got the guy in white. He just puts his hand on number 24. That's it. Ball's in air, and complete pass. Is there an advantage gained here? Just touching the receiver, just touching an opponent doesn't mean we have a foul, okay? In no way does white ever interfere with this guy's ability to move towards or bat or catch the pass. It's just a little bit of contact. There's nothing there. There's no advantage gain. You got to let this one go. There's nothing there. Deep pass into the end zone. Move this back just a second. Where are our face masks pointing? Okay. Player in white's on defense. Player in purple or black, whatever color that is on offense. White's on defense. Look right now. Both face masks are back looking toward the ball. Both these players want to move towards and bat, catch, or move towards the pass. But what happens? The offensive player just stops. He just stops because he wants to readjust, and there's contact there. All right, what was this guy in white doing? He's looking back towards the ball. How is he supposed to know that the offensive player is just going to stop? So we have nothing there. This is not a foul. We've got a deep official getting beat back here. The play is now past him. He's on top of it. He can't see what's happening. Okay. So that deep official needs to be back here. Never get beat deep. If you have the right angle, you're going to see everything. And you can't ball watch, because if you ball watch, all you're going to see is this contact in here, and you're going to think you have a foul. So there's nothing here. This is incidental contact. Both players are making a bona fide attempt to move towards bat or catch this pass. You have nothing there. This is just a good pass breakup. Guy times it perfectly. Perfect defensive play. There's no contact yet. As soon as this receiver touches the ball, pass interference restrictions end. You see this player in white makes a great defensive play. Nothing there. He just times it out perfectly. The advice I have here, unless you're 100% sure, don't throw it, because this is just a good defensive play. That's all this is. Just a good defensive play. Don't take it away from the guy that made a good defensive play. Let this one go. This is a tough one. But I'm going to stop for a second. And once you see the contact, try to put it into a category and tell me if you have a category that you can put it into. Slowed down for you. Look right now. What are both players doing? They're both looking at the ball. Those face masks are pointed up at the ball. Number 24 in white has no interest in running into or contacting the receiver now. I don't have a category I can put this one into. They're both up there. They're both looking towards the ball. Number 9 in black, he readjusts. When he readjusts, it causes contact. I don't think there's anything there. I don't have a category to put this one into, so I say we let this one go. As we close things out, I just want to emphasize, we only call this if we're 100% sure. Remember, we need to make sure that one of these players is not playing the ball, that they're playing the man, not the ball, and that we can categorize it. If we can categorize it, then we have a foul. Guys, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, leave any comments in the bottom. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.